When we arrived at Black Bear Adventures, we were all excited at the prospect of encountering one of the bears that we saw on the trail cam pictures. Wasting no time, our host Paul sets us up on a couple of good-looking baits. I was happy to be sharing a stand with my good friend and longtime supporter of Line of Sight, Phil Odell. We got ready and headed out to the stands for the evening sit. In Ontario, blaze orange is mandatory whenever you're on the ground, but can be removed when you're in the stand. Well, we're just out this morning and we've sat 2 nights, and as you saw, no action. But we went out and checked the baits this morning just to see what our next move is going to be, and of course they've been hit. So it's typical fall bear hunting. We're faced with competing against local berry crops and stuff. That's just something you deal with when you fall bear hunt. So we're gonna, as you've seen, the bears have been hitting these baits. They hit them last night after we left. So we're just going to maybe leave these baits for a couple of days. Of course, we're going to consult with Paul, but I think we'll leave these baits for a couple of days, let them we'll bait them and not hunt them, and let them get relaxed again, and we'll try them later on in the week. We're going to head back to the camp now, get ready, and maybe go out and enjoy some of Dog Lake's fantastic fishery. So stick with us and we'll see if we can put some fish in the boat. Closed captioning in today's episode is brought to you by Canuck. Dog Lake is a scenic and unspoiled place filled with back bays and coves to explore and fish. fish were plentiful with a few good eaters and lots of small ones to keep us amused.
Yay, a little micro walleye. A training walleye.
It's about the same.
He's a little bigger, but he's skinnier. Longer, but skinnier. There's a keeper. There's a keeper. 100%.
Nice. There's an eater.
Tasty. That's tasty.
Beautiful. After catching our dinner, it was back out to the baits. That evening, things picked up for Ben.
He did his death mode, so I think we did a good shot there. Not the biggest bear, but we've been sitting at this stand for the last couple of nights, and bait wasn't hit, so we checked this morning and bait was hit, and he came in like clockwork, right below me. He started walking away. I think he heard me get the gun up. Bear down.
This portion of today's episode is brought to you by Bergera. Our barrels make the difference. Meanwhile, at virtually the same time, Phil and I were also entertaining a visitor. Keep in mind, the camera angle is different from the shooter's angle. For Phil, the bear's vitals are obstructed by the tree. Phil patiently waits for my signal to shoot. The bear's vitals remain obstructed, and to Phil's credit, he remains rock solid on the gun. Then, as if on cue, an assist from an old familiar friend, Chipmunk.
Kill it, Phil. Kill it. Be ready with another one. Beautiful job. Hey, hey. Nice job. Nice job, Phil. You corked that bear. That bear is done. There's no movement there. You have nothing to worry about.
He's done now.
Oh, yeah. That first shot killed it, but the second shot, I just said get ready just in case, and the second shot, absolutely done.
This was a tough hunt. We were really questioning where we were going. This is our third day on this bait. We actually weren't going to come back to this bait. It hadn't been hit. We baited it, but it hadn't been hit. Then this morning it was hit. But the original thought was to leave it for a day, see if we could get the area settled down, whether we'd done something, and that's why the bears weren't coming in. But we looked at another site, and it was not showing signs either. So we thought, well, we know there's something around here because it got hit this morning. So we came back, got in the stand early. We had good time, and we were up there. And it's a good thing we were, because we were suspecting this bear was coming in later, because we'd been here 2 days at 8:30 and it hadn't been here. And so we got in the stand, and we were settled in for probably a good hour and a half to it, and then we heard the crack, and we heard her come in. We were beginning to question ourselves, to be perfectly frank, and it worked out well. Being confident, coming back, Anthony did a great job, got us set up, had a good shot, and it all worked out well. So we're really pleased. Up here at Dog Lake Resort, Thunder Bay, Ontario. This is a fantastic end to a great weekend.
This portion of today's episode is brought to you by PSE Archery. Well, guys, we had a pretty good hunt, I'd say. What do you think? A couple of beautiful bears. Phil got his and Ben got his on the same night. As so often happens with bear hunting, you can go through 2 or 3 days where, even a couple of days where the baits are not even being hit, and then all of a sudden it's like somebody flips a switch, and all the bears in the area all seem to activate at once. I've seen it happen lots of times, and happened for us the other night. So it was a situation where these bears were probably competing against some soft mast crops, some local soft mast like berries. You know, there's not a lot of blueberries this year, but there were some other berries in their droppings that we found. So I'm just going to have the boys give you a quick rundown on how things played out on their hunts. Start off with you, Phil.
Well, as Anthony said, we had 2 days with very quiet, and then the third day we were sitting. We weren't sure. We thought about changing baits, but we went back. Fortunately, went back to the same bait. And about 6:30, 6:45, we heard a snap of a twig behind us, and the game was afoot. She came in well behind us to our left, very cautious. So it was extremely important to be very, very still, because she was scoping out the area. She knew where the bait was. She'd been to the bait before. It was quite obvious. So Anthony's instructions and the process that we went through and preparation all paid off. As she came in around, it was tricky. I think we've seen that on the footage. We were fortunate to have a chipmunk distractor, and the Canuck engage did its job. Put one round in and she turned. I think she was probably done, but you always want to be better safe. You want to make sure that that's a clean kill, and we put a second round in and she never took a step. So very, very pleased. The resort up here at Dog Lake, fantastic, and we had a great time. Like I said, the engage did its job perfectly, and my man Anthony was right there coaching me through the whole thing, and it was a great hunt. Absolutely life experience.
I was really glad to be there. For anytime you can be part of someone's first anything. I mean, Phil is a very adept hunter. He's a very skilled hunter and has hunted quite a bit, and some species that were not really, they're not everyday species too. So to be there with him for his first bear was a big privilege for me. How about your hunt, Ben?
Yeah, so like Phil stated, we sat the same baits for a few nights in a row. I mean, my bait wasn't hit. The first night, the second night it was hit. We knew it was a matter of time. Sat till about 7:15. I started hearing some noise off to my right. About 8 o'clock, she slowly walked down, kept staring at me. Yeah, came to the bait, got a little worried there for a sec. She stood down, started to walk away, let the 6.5 roar, and only went about 50 yards. It was a great night.
Awesome. Well, I sure am glad with the results. Now we're going to go out and we're going to see if we can get a few grouse. For exclusive sneak peeks and behind the scenes action, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Line of Sight TV.